both of you for coming in. 30 years ago today, miners at Cottonwood Colliery in Yorkshire walked out in protest, had plans to close their pit. What would follow was a year-long national strike that became one of the most bitter industrial disputes in living memory, ending in the miners' defeat. The loss of an entire industry and a way of life is still keenly felt in Britain's coalfields. Andy Davies has been back to one former mining town in South Wales to hear from those involved 3 decades on.
I want to see no more pit closures, no more job losses.
Mr. Chairman, what we have seen in the past few weeks is not picketing at all.
1984, and a war of attrition engulfs the British coal industry. This was a year-long resistance by the bulk of the miners and their families.
He's a man, a big man, leave him walk out.
And it was a defining, deeply scarring moment in the history of British industrial relations. In 1948, there were 100,000 miners working across the valleys of the South Wales coalfield. By 1984, that number had dwindled to just 20,000. Which is why, for so many of the communities here who'd witnessed this relentless tide of pit closures, the strike of '84 meant one thing: a last stand. And witnessing it close up was Roger Tiley, then a young press photographer whose subjects emerged from the pits to take on the state. He documented the violence, the hatred towards the strike breakers, the poverty of those who went for months unpaid, as well as the deep social alliances which saw the South Wales miners lead the strongest strike of them all. And now he's back, photographing them again.
It's been 30 years since I took a picture of you. You haven't changed one bit.
What was it like, that whole period?
I can sum it up in very few words: the best year of my life.
Landworm is very important to this section of the coal industry. And
this was Alan speaking to Channel 4 News 30 years ago. Miner, union official, and now one of the faces of a project Roger Tiley is undertaking for the National Library of Wales. Do you think the strike achieved anything long-lasting for this community?
Respect. They talk about the strike. Some people say you were foolish. I think it did give respect to the area, that you were willing to fight for what you thought was right.
And where was the picket line for this colliery?
At the end of the tunnel that we just walked through.
For the 1,000 or so men like Alan who at the time mined and then picketed this stretch of the Ebbw Valley, strike headquarters were in Newbridge at the local memorial hall. The memo.
United in the struggle, united in the past, and it's here